Hello, this is Tempo Africa TV, Beyond the Headline program, and I'm your host, Petros Haile. Today, we have Robert Nguru, a student at MCTC, as a math student and a parliamentarian. We'll go in detail when the time comes. And to help me with this interview, our co-host is a filmmaker, Josiah Kibira. Hello, you guys.
Hi. Hey, how you doing?
Right. Okay, we'll go directly to the questions now. Robert?
Yeah.
This is probably our first time to invite a young person to a program.
I'm excited about it.
Yeah, anybody that is younger than me, I call them young. So.
Yeah, true. Okay. That's a true definition.
Question is, you are a student at MCTC.
Yes.
And earlier we were talking about you're also a parliamentarian.
Yes.
What does that mean?
Parliamentarian. This is an African group that we just started. The name of it is African Student Continental Club. We're based at Minneapolis Community and Technical College downtown. And my position, the role I play in the club is as parliamentarian. Basically what I do is we came together as a group and I spearheaded the making of the Constitution. So I'm always trying to make sure that meeting proceedings, that it's not too much side talk going on. Mm-hmm. And if somebody gets out of line, we have to handle it. And just to make sure that people are not getting too excited about an idea.
Okay.
Keep everything calm and collected.
And what is the purpose of, is it an association, organization?
It's a student club. That's what it is. Okay. We sat down and I think in the history of Minneapolis Community and Technical College, they've never had a club where African students, in general, Africa as a continent, just come together and share ideas. I mean, we've had Somali clubs, but that does not encompass the whole of Africa. Africa is big. So this is just a forum for young people to share ideas.
Oh, okay. Share ideas in terms of their academic achievements or some other social issues?
I'd say both. But the end goal usually is we always got to keep in mind that this is a college.
Okay.
You came here to study.
Okay.
And so anything that we engage ourselves in, we're always looking at that end goal. You know, this is a college. This is what you came here for. But of course, they say all work, no play makes Jack a dull boy. So we play a little bit too.
All right.
Yeah.
But it's more towards their academic career. And
true. Okay. Yeah, just spearheading people in the right direction. That's what we are all about.
Okay.
Yeah.
I believe that this must be a new concept in a college setting. Is it? Or there have been some other similar to your ventures?
I'd say outside of MCTC. Okay. Yeah, so we're just borrowing ideas from schools like the University of Minnesota. They already have their African club going on there, as well as other colleges statewide. Yeah. So we said, why not have it here? Why not bring it home? Because MCTC has a lot of African students, actually, you know. So having that there just makes them feel at home. You know, it takes us back to Africa where we can talk freely about issues that are affecting us.
Okay.
And if I hear about Petros is going through this issue, Josiah is going through this issue, I know how to handle it when I be in a situation like that. And also it's a lot of sharing in terms of academics, you know. I'm a math major myself. So if any other student has problems in math, I'm probably the first person they'll come and feel comfortable talking to me about it. Yeah,
speaking of issues, so what are the other issues that like African students face beside the academic pieces of it?
Number one is the language barrier.
The language,
you know? Yeah, a lot of West African countries, their main language is French, you know? So transitioning from coming to Africa and having grown up in Africa most of their lives, you're 18, you come here, and this is something that now you have to speak on a daily basis to communicate, to share your ideas. So language barrier. Then second thing is
so on that one, what's MCTC doing about it?
MCTC, what is it doing about it? Of course, they have English classes.
Okay.
And based on how advanced your language is, they'll place you in the right class. So you have elementary English courses.
All right.
Like, what do they call it? ESOL.
Oh,
That's
okay.
just basic English for students who speak English as a second language.
Right,
You
right.
know. Then from there you go to college level English.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's what MCTC is doing for African students, to
good.
make sure we communicate in a better way.
All right.
Yeah. And then the second thing I was saying was, second would be, as Africans, you come here, it's a new environment. We're not really certain about what's the right path to follow.
Okay.
You know, this is different setting, different community. We Africans, different culture from Americans, you know. So just that transition is very difficult for them. So that's some other barriers that the African students are facing.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Does MCTC has many students from Africa?
I'd say yes.
Okay.
I see, just from walking between my classes, I probably meet maybe 10 within a 5-minute period, you know.
Okay.
Yeah, so judging from that, I would say MCTC has a lot of African students.
Okay.
Yes.
Maybe on a personal note,
Yes.
you are from Tanzania,
Mhm.
Kenya,
Mhm.
and if you can tell us a little bit about your origin.
Oh yeah.
So to speak.
You seem kind of confused about it. Let me set it straight.
Okay.
I can trace my roots back to Tanzania. My dad can trace his roots back to Tanzania, but I was born in Kenya. I've lived in Kenya my whole life, but of course we've visited back and forth. Tanzania, very beautiful country. My brother here just
Okay,
can attest to that.
Yeah.
But Kenya, my mom is Kenyan.
Okay.
Yeah, and she's Luo, my dad as well. So we share a lot of tribes between Kenya and Tanzania, like the Maasai,
Right.
and then
right,
again the Luo.
Yes.
So yeah, as far as my citizenship, I'd say I'm Kenyan.
Oh, Kenya. Okay. Yeah. Well,
Yeah,
there's nothing wrong with having triple, quadruple heritage.
not a problem. Yeah, we're getting to
But,
that age in time where you got to be diverse.
Diverse,
You
you
gotta
see.
fit in anywhere.
Yeah.
So I'm curious about that, if I may.
Oh, go ahead.
So, what do you think? You just said you came here about 3 years ago now,
Mhm.
and how do you compare the education, let's say, at your college
Mhm.
and let's say Kenyatta University? How can you even? I know that you probably didn't go to Kenyatta University,
Mhm.
but how do you see the university education in Kenya versus you guys is here?
I never actually, after high school graduation, I came here. I didn't
Right.
go to university, but I would speak in terms of maybe just the education in
Right.
general. You know, I'd say Kenya is we're very advanced in the say like let's say math. I did a little bit of calculus in high school, and then coming here, I found out that calculus is a subject that's tackled in college. Yeah. So in terms of education, there's things that we are a little bit advanced, and then here is just the facilities. You know, they take the internet, for example. For me to have access to the internet in Kenya would take me, I'd have to walk somewhere or take a bus somewhere. It's not easily accessible.
Okay.
As opposed to here where I can just sit on my laptop, boom, 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 I'm on the internet. I access whatever information I have. So I'd say here it's just that we have more facilities and it makes it easier for the
you to
education
do-
process.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's true.
Mhm.
So, if I may take you back 5 years from today, maybe this is a question that Petros was going to ask.
No, that's fine.
If you take you back now, you're done. I know that you're going to proceed to maybe a higher university you mentioned.
Mhm.
So you're done with your education. What plans do you have? And I'm talking after. Don't say I'm going to graduate school. Yeah, after graduate school you're going to PhD. So
Yeah.
now, after you're done with that,
Yeah.
what do you see yourself?
I personally have a passion in business. I have a lot of ideas in my mind that I love to come to reality, you know. And what I plan on doing is, my dad used to sell cars. He did very well in it. So it's something that I grew up watching him do, and I'd love to actually maybe try it out, you know. What I'm going to school for is has nothing to do with selling cars. But I just feel that being able to own something that's mine, that when I'm grown, when I have kids, I can pass it down to them and say, this is yours. You know, go make something out of it.
Yeah.
As opposed to me sitting in an office from 9 to 5, which is not bad at all, you know. But I'd love to use my education as a stepping stone to, as a platform to greater things.
Okay.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
That's from a personal wish.
Yeah.
What you want it to be. And
Yeah.
regarding to the African community, where do you want to see the African community, particularly to your school?
My school?
Yeah.
I
Where do you want to see them maybe 5 years from now?
I want us to get to a point where we are giving and we're receiving, like we were talking about with my brother Alioun last time, and it's gotten to a point where the African community is just taking, you know, and we're not giving back our culture, we're not sharing back our culture with different cultures, you know. That to me is we sound dead, you know. If we get to a point where other races are willing to embrace our culture too, and it's a free flow, then that's my dream for the African community, you know. Yeah.
Oh.
So I missed it. So you're saying right now it's not well taken, or do you see it as there are some barriers for it to be shared with other culture or accepted?
There's always room for improvement.
Right. Okay.
That's what I'm saying. We haven't really gotten there yet. We shouldn't get comfortable, you know. And we were talking about this comes from the Brooklyn Park situation. I don't know if you've heard of it. And it's that they're now in kind of, what do you call it, a battle between, you can't play music in the parks, you know, but you can't use the same rules that were used 50 years ago, not keeping in mind that this is the residential area. This is a different population. 50 years ago, this are not the same people who used to stay there. So we have to find different rules, you know, to govern these people. So that's what I'm talking about. We need to get to a point where we can also express ourselves and be free to do it.
Okay.
Within some guidelines, of course.
Yeah. I see what you mean.
Yeah.
Just like our guest last week, Professor Mbele, was talking about cultural differences. And one of the things he said was, if you hold a party, you know, organize a party, loud voices comes with it.
Yeah.
True.
You know,
Yeah.
you just cannot hold a party and tell people to be quiet.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
cannot
Doesn't
do
work.
that.
Yeah.
So
not to Africans.
yeah, not to Africans. So most of it is this miscommunication of
Right.
culture. You know,
Yeah,
how
yeah.
they perceive it, how we send the message,
Yeah,
and
true.
stuff like that.
Yeah, I understand.
Would you plan to break that barrier down the line?
Oh yeah, I mean it comes with you gotta strategize. Everything you do, you gotta strategize.
Okay.
Yeah,
You just can't jump into something. You might find yourself falling, nose diving.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
it's something that I see myself doing. I personally am very free with people. I connect with a lot of people, you know. So I can use that as a skill, you know, to reach out to people of different races. Say, hey, this is how we view things. This is where I'm coming from. Let me hear what where you guys are coming from. Let's sit on a table and come to an understanding so that we don't have conflict of ideas, you know.
I have a follow-up question that you mentioned a little bit about, you know, going in entrepreneurship, doing the car business.
Yeah.
Were you talking about it here or going back? Where would that business be?
You know, my heart is always at home. You know, I plan on using this as gain. You know, here we have a good opportunity as opposed to Africans who only relate to people of the same culture,
Right.
you know. So now, having been here and having gained communication skills to relate to other people, I could take that back home and share with them, you know. So my heart, to answer your question, my heart is still back at home. So I would not assume, or I would safely assume that I want to go back after maybe 20 years, go back home and just settle and maybe start that business, or maybe move it over there after starting it here.
Here, oh, okay. So the intention is to work here.
Yeah.
I mean, go to school and start the business here, get the experience, and then take it back.
Yeah. So these are tools that are readily accessible to me. I'll take full advantage of them, you know, because I came here with a purpose and I plan on achieving it, and I'm sharing that with my brothers and sisters back at home.
So
Yeah.
it's a personal question, and you can stop me anytime.
I will.
So, because I haven't heard, and this is opportunity for you to say, why wouldn't you finish and take the business back in Kenya?
That's
since you've gotten the education, you get over there, you have your dad's experience. I'm just curious.
Yeah, that's true. That's a very difficult question. Give me a minute to think about it. But it's I would be lying if I say I don't enjoy this lifestyle of living. You know, it's a hassle to get around back home. So I've kind of fallen in love with this kind of living, but my heart is still at home. So that's why I wanna enjoy this, and then go back.
I totally understand.
Yeah.
No, your dilemma is not new to the Africans. I mean, all of us, most of us, you know, you walk around and see any African, you ask them, they would rather be home.
Yeah.
But it's just the complications of internet. There is no internet. There is nothing. I just wanted to make sure.
Yeah.
So
yeah, not a problem, man. Josiah, good question.
You know, I'm fascinated when I hear you talk about future and hope,
True.
especially given to the East African community. You know, like Kenya, Tanzania, Uganda.
Yeah.
And some parts of the Horn of Africa. This is a personal question.
yes.
Unfortunately, we spend so much time in conflict, you know, in a war situation. And when I see you guys, you're talking about future. And some countries in the Horn of Africa talk about survival.
Wow.
You know? Yeah. And I'm jealous in a sense, you know, when you have... I'll make it short. No. When you have 20, 30 years of peace, the end result is this, you know, people are going to school, people are talking about their futures and stuff like that. Yeah. So who do you attribute this stability, this what you see in this Horn of Africa, I mean the East African community, for producing a young man like you who's hopeful and optimistic on its future?
That's directed to me.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I would say it's just it trickles down generations. You know, I was brought up in a family where I didn't ever see my dad or mom fighting over stuff. Not to say that they didn't fight. Maybe they just didn't do it in front of us. They'd pull each other aside to the room and handle issues, then come back and act like everything is good. You know, so having grown up in a setting like that, all I know about is peace. You know, so I wouldn't go out there and start trouble, knowing that that's not where I'm from. So, and I think that's who I attribute it to, the older generation having to maintain. And Kenya is so diverse in terms of tribes. We have about 42 tribes. Not to say that we don't have conflicts here and there between the tribes, but it's. We're getting to a time where this awareness is being created. We're getting to accept our differences and making them work to our advantage. You know, like for example, the Kikuyu in Kenya, very business oriented. You know, they'll stop you in the middle of the street and sell you peanuts. You know, and you take it. You didn't have the need to eat peanuts, but you'll take it. You know, as opposed to where I'm from, where we're very intellectual, you know. So this is the kinds of differences I'm talking about. If we're able to come together, you know, and use it to, what I don't have, you share with me. What you don't have, I share with you, and make it happen. That's
so. What are the efforts that are done that you have seen that are saying, all right, we're trying to bridge this gap between the Kikuyu and the Luo? What are the things that you can share?
First of all, it's just the acceptance part of it.
Okay.
You know, it's just the accepting that, you know what, we're from different parts of Kenya. You know, as they say, the first step to solving a problem is accepting. You know, you have to accept that this is a problem that we're facing and we need to work on it. And then to answer your question again, what else is being done? We have like community centers, you know, where it just enforces that mingling aspect of community. you know, where we're not saying, okay, this is our only section for this tribe, this is a section for only this tribe. And they're discouraging that in schools. You know, you have national schools in Kenya where it's people basically from all over Kenya, northern Kenya,
Nice.
southern Kenya, the coastal region. So that just brings together like a melting pot where everything, you get the skills to get to know your neighbor and work together. Yeah, so
Pretty much develop the civil society, community based. Yeah, I guess.
To answer your question of what you asked him about, how did Tanzania get to that
Yes,
30 years old?
yes.
So we probably have the same amount of tribes, but what Nyerere did a while back was, you know, like I'm coming from Lake Victoria region in the western part, and but I go to high school in the, you know, in the coastal area.
Oh,
It's
okay.
not my area, and the kids from the coastal areas are brought back, and so that commingling, and we have a common language of Swahili.
True.
People
Forget
forget about where they're from, and then he did that for the governors too.
Okay.
You know, like the people from, you know, the Luo. If you look at the administration in the Luo area, they're probably all 100% Luo people. But in Tanzania, it's different. When you go, you can come in the Luo community, but the leaders are from Dar es Salaam tribe or something like that.
yeah.
So I mean, so when we meet, we're Swahili people.
Okay.
We're not.
We're Tanzanians,
We're
we're
Tanzanians,
Kenyans.
yeah.
Tanzanians.
Yeah.
So-
You develop that identity
Right.
as being one, pretty much on the basis of equality.
Yeah.
That is, I guess that is the secret.
Like we're all humans first.
Yeah,
then we
if you
break
create
into-
a relationship on one ethnic, one tribe dominating the other, it may not end up having that stable relationship. So, you know, I see the progress that Kenya is making. I see the progress Tanzania starts making, and Uganda is halfway down.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, it's not a very good thing to compare regions.
Yeah. Yeah.
But at the same time, you know, I cannot help, you know, letting this go by simply, you know.
Admiration.
Yeah,
That's what it is.
I want to take him back on that.
Okay.
So what? How is that problem reflected here? You know, I know you haven't been there too long, but this it is, you know, when you talk about Kenya, this issue always comes up.
Yeah.
The tribal issue.
Tribal issue.
How is it manifested in the United States?
I think you already know the answer to that.
Yeah.
That's just simply
I just want to
race.
hear it from you.
Yeah, that's race. There's disparities. You'll go to, I don't never get this because I go out a lot, and they're enforcing dress codes now in clubs.
Okay.
And they'll say, basically what they're saying is anything that black people are wearing cannot get in here, you know? So it's small hints like those that are bringing us apart, you know? Because if I go somewhere, I'm expecting to have fun, you know? I want to mingle, I want to talk to different people. But if you're stopping me from doing that, then we're not progressing forward. So that's just, it's been ongoing, you know? And I hope that maybe people as young as me one day will come with a solution to it, you know.
Oh, well, I was talking about the tribal issue.
I went off.
Well, you're talking. It looks like you're talking about the race in the clubs and the discrimination, which is it's a problem.
Yeah.
But what I was asking was how we're talking about the Kenyan tribal issue. You know, the Luo versus the Kikuyu.
True.
Is it manifested here in the United States?
Oh, here in the United
Yeah.
States,
Yeah.
I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
No, not at all.
Okay.
Not at all. When you come here, it's so different. You wouldn't
Alright.
believe it, you know. Because now we're all Kenyans. The first thing, I don't even think about asking you what part of Kenya you're from, you know. Because you realize that the smaller you are, the smaller in number you are, you need to come together and make things happen.
Yeah.
You know, I can't be out here thinking about, oh, what part of Kenya are you from? Or I can't work with you. It doesn't work like that. I really realized that the numbers are not on our sides. It's beneficial for us to join hands. Yeah.
But to add up to it, at one time there was that kind of sentiment, even here, because I went to a party over Brooklyn Center, and I also had my own thing at Blue Nile. So I went there. I guess I found out it was from Kisi group. So I came to Blue Nile. I saw a lot of Kenyans. I said, "How come you're not there? You're here." Oh, those Kisi people.
Yeah.
I said, "You guys have the same problem like we do." But it might not be significant enough to tell. But I'm talking about 15, 20 years ago. So it may be a little different right now.
I just came here 3 years ago. I attest to that it's changed.
It's changed.
I don't see it a lot, you know.
Okay, okay.
I hang out with a group of friends. All of them are Kisi. Apart from me and my other friend.
Oh, okay.
All of them are Kisi. And it doesn't ever come up.
Do they know that you're not Kisi?
Maybe they're confusing.
Maybe your last name?
But normally, whatever happened to the hometown, you see the reflection in diaspora.
Yeah, true.
This is a very natural thing.
Right.
But I'm glad you guys overcome this and become one Kenya.
Exactly.
Yeah, I should also say that having been here for a while, there isn't, it's not as sensitive. It's there, but it's not as sensitive as, you know, because here there are so many other things to worry about. You know, this is a free society. We don't care what tribe you are. Who cares? But there is less emphasis of that here.
Okay. And the same topic, Kenyatta.
Yeah.
He's in trial for the massacre of, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, mass.
Can you say a little bit about that?
Violence.
Or the status? What is he now?
He's been acquitted of all charges. As far as I know.
Done.
Yeah, it's done with. Yeah, he's now leading the country and without thoughts of ever being in jail or anything like that.
Yeah,
being convicted.
Perfect.
So I should say.
It's a good news. But a lot of Africans were accusing the International Court of Justice having a double standard on Africans. Like, you know, they just order an arrest warrant to the Sudanese leader or, you know, telling Kenyatta to come and face charges. Do you have an opinion on that one? Or even Josiah, if you do?
No, I want to give him a shot.
Yeah.
Okay. Go ahead.
I'd say double standards exist everywhere. I really don't know the details into it. It's the first time I'm hearing about this Sudanese president being
Bashir.
Bashir. But I'd say take it as we entrusted them with that kind of power to make decisions on our behalf. We couldn't deal with it as a country. We took it outside to the ICC. So whatever decision they come up with, I respect.
Respect that.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you expect them to reform if there is a double standard, right?
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah. Clearly, if there's some wrong, then we got to talk about it. We got to bring it to the table and say, okay, we feel that we gave you responsibility. You didn't handle it the right way. Let's make a change. Yeah.
I agree. I mean, they are. I know what you're talking about. You know, like African leaders. You know. But also, I mean, there is The Hague that has accused some other. You know, the guy from where was that in Europe, Eastern Europe, who was
the
Slovakia something.
Yeah, I know.
So. They've brought some leaders who are from Europe also who have done those kind of atrocities. So, but every African slap him with the ICC.
Okay.
This is the world we live in, man.
True.
and we're hoping that the future generation will change. If there is any unfairness,
I have high hopes in the generation I belong to. We're looking at things differently, for example, back in the day when I'm sorry to say this, but I'm referring to your generation.
Okay.
When you guys went to school, what was your main goal? You guys wanted to go to school and get jobs, right? Get hired. But now I see a different kind of thought in people. People are more they're excited about bringing their own ideas into reality. I have friends who I went to high school with. They're doing great things. Photography in Kenya is not a big thing. He was a year older than me, and now he's being hired by corporations to do videos for them, different artists. So this generation is a generation where people are starting to, they want the ideas out there. They're not going to school. School, they use it as a tool to acquire skills, to deal with issues in society. Yeah, they don't go to school to get hired. That's so I have a lot of hope in this generation.
Well, in defense of
Your
my generation,
Yes.
and you know, Africa came out of colonialism in 1960s.
True.
And it takes a couple of generations to stabilize situation.
Right,
you know,
right.
so that generation paid the highest and ultimate price.
True.
You know, to bring this generation, and this generation is within the comfort of, you know, everything that they can go to school, they can dream big and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So it always complement each other.
Yeah.
You know.
Exactly.
So yes, Jomo Kenyatta. Yes, Mwalimu, Tanzania.
Yeah.
Yes, Ghana.
Yeah.
Everybody paid the price, and the process took some times, even to build an institution
Right.
Yeah.
where ambitions can be normal thing.
Yeah.
And you guys are the product of that generation. But
Exactly.
I'm glad you're taking it to the next level.
Exactly.
Yeah, right.
And on that note, I just like to, man, big up you guys. I mean, like you say, you guys paid the ultimate price.
Not me, but
Before you.
Not that bold.
Oh, yeah.
He
Go
didn't
ahead.
fight the
He
first
didn't
war.
fight.
No.
He wasn't there.
no, I was not.
Yeah. The you guys, like I said before, it's just trickling down generations, and I love how
Yeah.
it's evolving.
Yeah. And to add up to what you're saying,
Yeah.
you know, when colonialism is over, there was that internal rivalry that
Right.
takes another 20, 30 years.
To forget about it.
Yeah. All this was an obstacle, but at the same time, it was a necessary path to get what we are today. And I'm glad to find people use like you who's willing to take us to the next level.
To the next level.
Again,
Progress.
yes, it is progress. It's on the making.
Yeah.
And I appreciate the fact you came and talked to us. This is our first day for the youth to give us your perspective.
Yeah.
Robert Nguru,
Yeah, true.
and of course our co-host Josiah Kibira. So on this note, we conclude today's program, and we'll see you next week with a different guest. Thank you. Have a nice one.
Thank you.
Thank you.